Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Viewers Club. My name is Lucas.
My name is Tess.
My name is Megan.
Even with three of us, completely cool. So today we are going to be discussing the 1917 film Alien, which is Ridley Scott's...
1917?
Did I say that? 1979.
You said 1917.
So this film was made during World War I.
Wow.
And it was really revolutionary at the time.
It really stands the test of time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially because it was, in color, you know?
Wow.
And, it was just really revolutionary.
Yeah.
So the 1979 film,
Thank you.
Alien, it's Ridley Scott's horror science fiction film that took the world by storm in a blend of genres whose impact is still felt in today's entertainment industry. Alien centers on the Nostromo, a spaceship harboring 7 crewmates in stasis as they return to Earth. The film opens with the crew being awakened to investigate a possible distress signal on a seemingly abandoned alien moon. Instead, the crew find a mysterious new life form that quickly presents itself as a threat to everyone aboard the vessel. Dun dun dun! So, we're about to enter the spoiler zone. If you have not seen Alien or any of the Alien movies, you might want to click off, but you have been warned.
Is the spoiler zone like the splash zone?
Yes. Yes.
We just throw spoilers at people's faces.
We do. In a little bucket marked spoilers. So, for my first question, I wanted to ask you guys, what was it like watching this film for the first time? If you can remember, the first time you watched this film, what were your immediate impressions, and how scared were you on a scale of yes to yes? Tessa, you want to start?
Yes, well, I remember watching this way back 2 hours ago, and my first impression ever since was... Okay, it started out, and it was definitely 80s vibes, and I fell in love with it immediately. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like Star Wars-y. And then on the scale of yes to yes, I definitely have to say yes. It was very intense and very scary, actually. I was like, oh my gosh. I can't imagine being one of the crew members.
Megan, how about you?
I gotta go way back in my mind. Years and years ago. So
Not 2 hours.
God, I wish I could rewatch this movie without knowing what happens in it.
Me too.
I saw this movie years ago. I was in high school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I had just really gotten into horror movies. And this was on the list of basically horror/monster movie that you have to watch. Mm-hmm. And I watched it late at night because I'm somebody who likes to be thoroughly petrified of everything after a horror movie. So after I watched it, I was just like, it was just so good. It has such great tension. It was just one of the best modern monster movies I have ever seen, and I don't think any other monster movie that anybody has made since even stands close to how good Alien was/is. I love that there's no main character in the beginning, and then as people slowly start dying off, there is a main character. It's just... And I want to be on set. I want to see the alien in person.
Right.
It's my dream to see the puppet of the alien that they made, because that's not CGI.
Yes.
Well, that might come true, Megan, because apparently one of the props masters or guys that actually created the alien what is it, costume skeleton stuff, he lives here in San Diego. And my mom and brother met him because he had his garage open and it still had all the alien stuff in it. And they're like, whoa, what is this? Yeah. So I might be able to make that come true.
You're just gonna... Wow.
Yeah.
I would bow down. Please.
My little nerd heart is beating faster and faster.
That's...
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. Honestly,
Wow.
My favorite thing about a lot of early 80s, 70s movies, especially Jurassic Park as well, fits into this, is that they don't use CGI to make their monsters. They use amazing puppetry
Mhm.
to create the realistic, like, you know, the realistic thing. And oh gosh, I feel like movies go downhill when they don't make
do.
really good puppets for it. And
Right.
the design of the alien is the most terrifying thing in the entire world.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that is a great segue to my next question. So, speaking of I feel like Alien is a great example of this, and a lot of films from that time period. They had to use a lot of practical effects because the technology was not there. But CGI and that kind of the digital era, it was slowly starting to emerge. And so I just kind of wanted to get your take on whether or not you think the stuff that we see in Alien is better or worse. And this doesn't have to be general, but like kind of your opinion on what they did better in Alien versus what they did worse in sort of modern films from that standpoint, from an effects standpoint, practically and visual and digitally. Megan, you want to start this?
Yeah. I think movies like Alien, like Jurassic Park, like Jaws really utilize tension built up from not seeing something. Because they just didn't have the greatest technology to do CGI. They didn't have the puppets, though, look amazing. You know, the suits look incredible. Will get stale, or they just won't look as real the more that you look at them.
Right.
You know. So they really utilize not showing the monster to you, you know?
Absolutely.
So, like, the moments that you do see it are absolutely horrific. So there's, like, that whole thing, there's a whole scene that I think is one of the best scenes in the entire movie when we really get a good look at what the alien looks like, you know?
Yeah.
And it's when Ripley is hiding behind something, and then the alien's head, like, emerges into frame.
Yes.
You know, it's the most terrifying thing ever. And CGI for me doesn't hold that same effect because CGI in a lot of modern day monster movies, things like King Kong, the Island of what is that one where the Island of Monsters, any of the King Kong, the Godzilla movies, all of these movies that make these incredibly big monsters, I think rely way too heavily on CGI, personally. CGI for me is something that looks good now. Give it 5 years and looks horrible. You know,
it'll
what
be
I mean?
realer
It's
than
like,
real.
It'll be realer than real right now.
Right.
And then in 5 years, you're just like,
Right. You'll look back and go, that sucked.
That's horrible. And Alien is actually, the Alien franchise is a really good example of this. They've kind of leaned away from using the actual alien in a lot of their more modern things to get that realistic movement and that not so, you know, so you can have more of the alien on screen, which isn't really a good thing in my opinion. But basically this whole long-winded thing is that CGI is great. But it gets to a point. The alien movies that use a lot of CGI and the CGI movies like King Kong and Godzilla are good the first time you watch them when they first come out, but I don't ever watch them afterwards because they're just I'm just like, it just doesn't look good. You just wanted to use CGI to make the monster. I'm all for CGI, but like I prefer the tension of like you have to have a physical thing, a physical person manipulating it. And it just looks way, way better. Yeah. But that's like my long-winded spiel on CGI.
I've definitely got to agree with Megan in that like less is more. And I think that they really did a great job with it in this film, like having the alien like only showing like little bits of it, like not the whole thing being shown, like the entire time, you know, and then for the little times like when its head is peeking out from around the corner, or you're like face to face with the alien, it's like in the darkness, and then like when the light hits it, there's also like other textures on the face, like that slime or like, you know, water like dripping,
it's shiny,
from it, which
it's
makes
like
it even more grotesque and
Disgusting.
scary. Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
So. Disgusting. Oh my gosh.
She just shows up when the alien makes an appearance. Disgusting!
Yeah, I mean, completely agree with the two of you, and I think what a lot of what I've heard and what I think is tried and true is that CGI is great to elevate and enhance some of the practical effects and do what they can, and I think when they work hand in hand, it works really well. I think a good example of that is a movie, I don't know if you guys have seen it, Mad Max Fury Road, came out in 2014.
No, I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
It's on my list.
It does a lot of that, where a lot of people thought that there was a lot of CGI in that film, not because it looked bad, but because they just thought, there's no way they could have done that in real life. And there's very little CGI. And I think that's more an example of what I think a lot of modern movies can take away from not just movies like Alien, but just effects in general, is when they can work hand in hand, it looks a lot better, and less is more, or less can be a lot more in order to build that tension, and having that physical object can definitely just make everything terrifying. So I wanted to talk about Ridley Scott a little bit, because the madman is a total genius. And I kind of wanted to first talk about, are there any, we kind of talked about that moment with Ripley and the alien coming in and just the crap your pants terror of that. Were there any, I'm gonna open this up to, were there any scenes, moments, or shots that you guys were just like, mwah, love it?
Visually, this movie is so visually like phenomenal.
Absolutely.
I really loved they find the egg room, on the ship. Yeah. The whole light effect, the whole smoke, that was just really, really well done. I think a scene that really stands out to me is the practical effect. I don't know how they did it. I want to know how they did it. With the chest burster, with the baby alien, that scene is so intense for so many reasons. The whole, they're so nonchalant about everything that just happened. They're getting ready, they're having a meal before they go back to sleep. And John Hurt, God rest him, he was such a phenomenal actor. Every time I see him in this, I was just like, this is only a fraction of what he can do. But that whole entire scene is so intense because there's no music at all happening during that scene.
Right.
It's just the most terrifying thing ever. This tiny little thing bursts out of his chest in the most intense way possible. That scene is one of my favorites. It's so disgusting. It's so good. I need to know how they were able to make that scene, because it looks really good.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know how they did that scene, but this is from an interview with Sigourney Weaver. She said that they had no idea what that was going to look like when they first did it. They were not aware of how that practicality was going to be done. And so when it burst out of that chest, that is their actual shock. Like, holy shit.
They knew something was going to happen. They knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know what.
They did not know how it was going to look, and they did not know how bloody and how intense it was going to be.
I love that. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. Also, when they found out that Ash was a robot and his death too, that was really graphic even for a robot.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, and I just read, so I just watched the HBO series, or the HBO Max series, Raised by Wolves, which is also a Ridley Scott production. And it deals with a lot of androids that have that white blood. And so Ridley Scott was asked about that white blood, and I thought this was interesting. He said that during the scene where he's kind of first fighting with Ripley, just before he goes kind of crazy and he has to be just taken apart. So he said that things were getting a little intense, and that just before he was supposed to kind of lash out, Ridley Scott was like, "Hold on, does anybody have a dropper filled with milk?" And one of the set guys was like, yeah. And he just reached over and he dropped it on Ian Holmes' forehead.
Oh, forehead.
And that, yeah. And so that scene where that little piece of white blood is dripping down, that was like, completely impromptu. That was last minute.
I love that.
And to this day, Ridley Scott's like, I have no idea what possessed me to make milk the color of android blood, but he said there was just something so haunting about that image that I had to do it. So there we go. Alien lore for you. But
I love that. That's incredible.
It was just phenomenal. Well, and I also wanted to ask, now that we're talking about Ian Holm and John Hurt and all these fabulous actors, I just kind of wanted to open the discussion to what characters you enjoyed seeing their story play out the most, and which characters actor you just kind of want to give props to, because there were so many.
You're gonna ask which actor did you like seeing get ripped apart by the alien?
We can do that too. But this film, it was so interesting because I feel like it was a nice mixture of people that had been in stuff before and also a lot of new people. And I think he likes to do that, where kind of have these new up-and-coming actors and give them the chance to play around. And so I just kind of wanted to open the discussion to which character you enjoyed seeing their journey and which actor you kind of want to give props to, because there were so many wonderful actors in this film that this was really their start in the industry. Tessa, do you want to go first?
Yeah. Of course, Sigourney Weaver. She was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I liked... Queen. Yeah. I think I liked Ian Holmes' character arc the most, because I was not expecting him to be an android. I knew something was off about him, but I didn't know, watching it between Ash and Ellen, which one was in the right and which one was in the wrong, because they both seemed to have valid reasons up until the end, of course. But yeah, I think those two were my favorite.
Nice. Absolutely. Megan, how about you?
Oh man, I love the face hugger.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I feel like the face hugger actor really committed.
A really commitment right there. Oh gosh. Yeah, there's so many talented people. John Hurt is one of my personal favorite actors of all time. Mm-hmm. I love the character for Ash. I think he's a really great character, because I feel like, and this is what I love about the movie, it flips the idea of the main character on its head.
Yes.
In the beginning, you have no idea who the main character is going to be, but by the time the alien is making its first appearance as a chest burster and everything, you're under the assumption that Ash is going to be the main character, which is very typical of a lot of action sci-fi, have the leading male actor be the main protagonist who survives it all, you know what I mean? But I loved how he wasn't.
Yeah.
I love that he was just as scared as everybody else, but he was trying to protect the people on his ship. And even though he...
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't... Just kind of coupled with that, I thought that the captain guy with the... They kind of went into the vents. I thought that he was going to be the main character. Is it?
Isn't Ash?
I don't remember the characters. I thought that was Captain Dallas.
Oh, Dallas.
Oh, then I'm mixing my characters up.
Okay, then never mind. But yeah, I also didn't think
replace that name with Captain Dallas.
I also did not think that the main character was going to be who the main character was.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is why I appreciate Sigourney Weaver's character for Ripley a lot. Because it's not something you're expecting. You're not expecting one of the female characters to come out and be the main and only survivor,
Yeah.
and then she becomes the outside of the alien. Isn't the alien called the xenomorph or something?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of like the face of the xenomorph, Ripley, and Sigourney Weaver are the face of the franchise. Which is like,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I absolutely loved it. Fun fact about this: we talked about the Bechdel test. This movie passes the Bechdel test.
Yes, I was thinking that
indeed
too
it
when I was
does.
watching it.
It's awesome,
Mhm.
right?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
good.
So good.
I think they mentioned it like in the comic, right? In
They
Alison
did.
Bechdel's comic. That's
Yeah.
funny.
This is how. Listen, Hollywood. This is how you make good, strong female characters.
This is how you do
Just saying.
it.
This is how you do it. Just saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was wondering, I'm like, are they
Um,
gonna have like the cliche romance, now that they're all stuck together on
Well,
the
they
ship?
do in the
not.
second one.
Okay.
Right.
They did in the second
Yeah.
one, but
least for this
in a
one.
very tasteful way, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to ask, so there are so many sequels to the Alien franchise. And
Sequels, prequels, series are about to come
prequels.
out for it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so I wanted to ask because, and I don't know how many of the Alien movies you guys have seen. I have seen, I think, up to
God.
Prometheus, and then I kind of stopped.
I need a list. Let me pull up a list.
I've just seen this one. So.
Right. So I'm pretty sure there's Aliens, Alien 3, and then a fourth one with Winona Ryder. And then they had Prometheus, and then Alien Covenant, and then now they have a video game. So I just kind of wanted to ask, I feel like the general consensus is that they could have stopped the franchise a lot earlier. And so I just wanted to ask, depending on how many you guys have seen, what sequels and what stories do you think could have stayed and could have gone, and where do you think the story really could have or should have ended? If you guys are aware of the sequels.
Jeez. I know I've seen Prometheus and I know I've seen Covenant. I'm going to need a refresher on those ones. I know that as far as the original go, as far as Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection,
Yes.
I hate. This is a strong word. Most people will agree with me. They have a burning, fiery hatred for 3 and Resurrection. They're super enjoyable movies. I will say that they are enjoyable to a point. I can't watch Alien 3 because it negates the entire purpose of the second Aliens movie, which I hate because I love Aliens. Alien Resurrection is a very interesting storyline. Personally, I think it is. I don't think that they explored it well enough. And I'm not entirely certain if Alien Resurrection is the lead up to Alien versus Predator versus Alien. I don't know if that was what the lead up was for that, but I've never seen Alien versus Predator.
Neither have I. I forgot about that one.
I don't know. I don't like those two. Alien 3 negates the entire events that happen in Alien 2.
Yeah.
Which it sucked, and then it was a whole romance movie tacked on to it, which really cheapened Ripley's character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me? Like, I know that you've seen it. Alien Resurrection was a fun action movie. I didn't really connect with it.
Yeah.
Prometheus, was that like the first ship that crashed into the planet?
I think so. That was with
the original
Michael
before
Fassbender. Yes. It was with Michael Fassbender, and he was the android that went with them. And you didn't really think that it was a part of the Alien universe, and then
Prometheus was a meh.
yeah.
Prometheus and Covenant were both a mess for me. Again, enjoyable movies, but I wish that they were done differently. In all honesty, if we're looking at the entire, like, in those movies for Alien, I prefer the first two, and I think that they should have stopped at those two, or at least had better, stronger storylines for the other four.
Yeah. And I think for Aliens, Ripley's character's phenomenal anyways, but I really enjoyed a lot of her scenes in Aliens, especially in the beginning when she's like basically telling all of the heads of that company, like, listen, you have no
Xenomorph
clue.
is not what you want.
You have no clue what you're dealing with. Like, I think she handled that scene phenomenally, and I totally agree. I think Aliens was a good cutoff for the series, and then after that, everything was either a mess or meh. I think when I saw Alien Covenant, I actually didn't really see the whole thing, just because it was so. It seemed so predictable and so bad. I feel really bad for saying that, but like, I just was like, really? It just didn't seem like a good addition. It seemed like fluff. It seemed like box office fluff, and so I really do.
Let's make money on a
believe
series that did
they should
really
have
well.
ended. Yeah, I think definitely it should have ended with Aliens, and that the franchise would have been just fine without it.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, Ridley Scott is a genius when it comes to sci-fi world building. We know that from Blade Runner, and we know he's still got it. I mean, Raised by Wolves, I would highly recommend it. He's still got it.
He taking part in the is Ridley Scott taking part in the new series coming out for Aliens?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if
And
you know this.
I haven't heard a lot about that series,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure.
I don't know anything about it. I do know that they're making they're making a few series on Hulu for it. Disney had their huge announcement.
Right. I would assume he has some part in it, just because it's his creation.
I hope so.
But I'm not sure. But yeah, I think the general consensus is Aliens. That should have been the period for the Alien series. So
Tessa, you're gonna have to watch Aliens,
I know.
and then you're gonna have to watch
them.
all of the other ones because I want to hear
and make your decision. Yes,
for sure.
Well,
they're on my list.
Yes, please. I mean, it's such a phenomenal movie, and just you can tell that a lot of hard work and a lot of care was put into it. And I think that's all question-wise that I have. If you guys have any finishing thoughts about the movie that you'd like to say, please. This is the sharing time to do so.
I'm gonna say cinematography and scenic design and monster design are my favorite things in this in the movie. And I will say this, even though I didn't enjoy the other movies nearly as much as the first two, I appreciate the fact that they kept the scenic design very, very true to the original, even though a lot of them were made in like 2014 and stuff. I'm glad that they were able to stick with that 80s vibe with the look that they had for the scenic stuff. But other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Same. Oh my gosh.
Same. Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm excited to see what else they made with it.
You're gonna love it. Trust me, you'll love it.
And then you'll probably hate it.
Probably.
So thank you, everybody.
And then the train just goes downhill from there.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below about how much you love Alien and where you thought maybe the series should have ended, and what you think that they could have done differently with how the franchise went. This has been Lucas.
This has been Tess.
This was Megan.
And this was probably the Viewers Club. Thank you guys so much for listening, and have a good.
Have a good.
Have a good.
Do not.
The chest
answer...
burster.
Yes. Do not answer distress signals on abandoned moons. Do not.